The problem with a barbell bench press is people contract their elbows below the line of their shoulder and they bring the bar all the way down to their chest. The problem with that is that as the arm tracks down and back, the bench tends to restrict the way the scapula are supposed to move, and it messes with the shoulder, which is why the majority of the gym-going population of North America has shoulder injuries right here. The heavier the lift, the more they force that joint capsule open, and it causes them a lot of problems. That's why you're always seeing guys in the gym with scars right here. It's because they've had shoulder surgery to try and fix what happened to them during bench press. A couple of things you could do. You could restrict the range of movement of the bench press, or you could do it on a ball. It's a very simple version, but oftentimes if you're out in the real world, you don't have an exercise ball lying around, so let's do the floor version. This video is part of a greater series of videos where we are teaching kettlebells in a logical order from absolute basics up to advanced technique. This video goes in the middle of a Turkish get-up series. There are fundamental things you need to know in kettlebells: the deadlift, the swing, the hand-to-hand swing, the clean, the hand change, the press, the squat, the step back lunge, and all of those things develop to get us to the point where we can start to work on our Turkish get-up. The Turkish get-up is getting up off of the ground with a kettlebell in one arm in lockout. The Turkish get-up essentially starts to replace bench press for most people for at-home training. It is very different from a bench press. With bench press, you would use very heavy weights, but it would not be a complicated movement. With a Turkish get-up, we start with a floor press, and then it will turn into a half get-up. Then we will get all the way up. Then we will work on getting back down. We are going to start from a seated position down on the ground, and we are going to work on getting the kettlebell up without hurting our shoulder. Getting the kettlebell to our starting position is half of the learning technique, and we would like to be very good at it. We will start by rolling our body towards the kettlebell. The goal is to put our hand in front of our solar plexus. Take your other hand, grab on, and pull, keeping the kettlebell in front of our shoulder the entire time. Change legs. This makes more sense when we develop into the next steps of the Turkish get-up. Elbow flat on the ground, arm basically at 90 degrees so that the forearm is vertical. Other hand out at a 45-degree angle. You can either do head flat on the ground, but most people will start with the head up off of the ground so that they can get more core engagement when they are learning. Press to elbow lockout. The same way that we press the lockout overhead, we start with lockout here. Bring the elbow down to the ground, touch, press all the way up. Bring it down, touch, press all the way up, bring it down, touch, elbow rests on the ground, forearm remains vertical, press all the way up. The important part is that we are still holding our kettlebell like it's a kettlebell. We have quickly changed angles here so that you can see the angle that the kettlebell sits at. Everything that we do with the bell is the same as we do when we are in the standing position. The L of our hand is all the way into the corner of the kettlebell. The handle is down at a 45-degree angle. Our elbow is locked out. How you hold it matters. If you find yourself holding it with a parallel handle and your wrist is bent, you will have a hard time going up to heavier and heavier weights. If you end up with the bell in this position, adjust the bell, L of the hand to the L of the kettlebell, 45 degrees down, so that your fingers are pointed straight at the sky when you open your hand. If your fingers are pointed to the side, adjust the bell. Bring the elbow down till it touches the ground. The forearm is still vertical. What we are doing is avoiding resting the bell on our body, because that will mean that we will have to add a whole movement to lift the bell up. It works with a lightweight, it does not work with a heavyweight. Back to the original side, let's discuss setting the bell down. After you finish your final rep, elbow touches the ground. The other hand comes up and over, grabs onto the knuckles, and you're gonna roll your whole body to the side to keep the kettlebell in front of your chest. What we are trying to avoid doing by rolling our body to the side is externally rotating our elbow fast with a heavy weight. You're trying to avoid that external rotation because many people who have a history of working out in the gym are not great at that. If you have a history of heavy club swinging or mace swinging, that gets substantially less dangerous. Or if you have worked on your basics and worked on your halos, your alternating halos for several months, then externally rotating the shoulder under load gets less and less dangerous over time. But in the beginning, everything is about safety. We want the hand to stay in relation to our chest, so we are going to roll our body on the ground to keep it there. When we grab with our hands, knuckle comes to knuckle so that we can wrap our hand over the top. That way, when we set it down, we have the best possible grip and our hand stays in front of the center of our body. When changing hands in the beginning, we will roll over the kettlebell. This hides an extra bit of athletic training in here, which is a bit of ground engagement. After we finish the rep, we grab with our other hand. We roll to the center. We are going to roll over the bell to get to the other side. Line up your hand, grab with the other hand, pull it to center, and begin presses on the other side. Grab the weight to set it down. Change legs. Keep the kettlebell in the center. Unthread your arm. Get over the top any way you want in the beginning. We will talk about making this fancier over time. In the beginning, just get over the bell. Kettlebell at elbow height. Get close to the bell, pull it up, and begin your presses on the other side. Always pick it up and set it down with good technique. Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica, and today we are going to talk about one version of our double kettlebell floor press. Kettlebell training tends to be treated as strength training in the majority of the time it's trained in the Western world. The big three of strength training or power training are, of course, our deadlift, our squat, and our bench press done with a barbell. Our kettlebell equivalents of that would be like a swing, a squat, a clean and press, and a Turkish get-up. We normally coach Turkish get-ups for people first because a Turkish get-up is really a combination of 8 moves, and it tends to integrate strength for most people very effectively. We have lots of videos on Turkish get-ups. Go watch them. At certain points in training, it is fun to go back to a version of a chest press, but we don't have a bench, we don't have a bar. How are we gonna do it? For our double version of this exercise, we are going to start from our seated position. We're gonna get 2 hands in, palms face up. Corner of your hand goes into the corner of the kettlebell, just like it does for every other press. We are gonna lift up with our legs, sit back, don't drop it on your face. Our elbows are on the ground, arms at 45-degree angle. Press all the way up to lockout, bring it all the way back down. Press all the way up to lockout, bring it all the way back down. If you want to make it a little bit more gymmy, then you would press up, squeeze them together, and clack the handles. Open them up, bring them back down. You can lift your elbows up higher to the level of your shoulder, increasing the angle between your body and the elbow, but it doesn't really matter that much. Kettlebells are going to encourage you to have this flat line and probably have your arm at about 45-degree angle. So let's say that that's 90, 45, and 0 degrees. Think about the double kettlebell press as being about the 45-degree angle on both sides, pressing all the way up to lockout, rotating the hands towards the center, externally rotating, and bringing back down. It's a simple exercise. You can treat this one any way you want. If you have really heavy weights, then you can treat it like strength training. Most people don't have kettlebells that are so heavy that they need to treat this like strength training. You're isolating out just one movement out of a greater movement like a Turkish get-up, and you can start pushing this one for more reps. Treat it like a gym bench press, and you could do any strategy you want. It could be a volume cycle where you build up your load over time, or it could be just get 2 kettlebells, press until failure, which I tell people almost never to do, and then wait 2 to 3 minutes and then do that 3 or 4 times. Today we are going to talk about our bridge double kettlebell floor press. In a previous video, we had shown the flat version, and we're gonna turn it into the bridge version. We're gonna get all the way down, elbows touch the ground. Your palms are gonna face 45 degrees. Two options for the floor press. You could do a bit of a crunch to activate your core, or you can roll your tailbone up to activate your core. Most people choose the tailbone roll up version because it allows them to not place stress on their neck. From here, the bridge press version turns it into a decline. You're just not using a bench, your body becomes the bench. Lift your tailbone up, squeeze your glutes. Your forearms are vertical. From here, press all the way up, clack your handles together, externally rotate 45 degrees, bring your elbows down. Press, bring them down, nice and slow and controlled. Press, bring them all the way down. Press, bring them all the way down. When you set the kettlebells down, you're gonna set them down towards your knees because that's where your arms can't snap. If you set them down out to the side, people can snap their shoulder and hurt it pretty badly. So set your kettlebells down towards the direction of your knees. The kettlebell will get to the ground before your arm straightens out. The important parts of this drill are that we don't want our elbows all the way on our body or up at 90 degrees. 90 degrees, 0 degrees. Kettlebell presses work very well at about the 45-degree mark. That's going to put our hands at about that 45-degree position. When we press our arms out, roll your arms palms face together, squeeze them together. It gives you that little bit of fly action, and you can clack the bells together to achieve lockout, but get your fingers out of the way when you do that. If you have your fingers in the way and you try to clack the bells together, you're not gonna like it. It hurts a lot. When we do that press, our elbow cannot track below the line of our shoulder. Elbows at 45 degrees, press all the way up, rotate, squeeze them together, get your fingers out of the way. Achieve elbow lockout. Kettlebells help people achieve elbow lockout. One of the things that can go weird in gym training is people benching and keeping flexion in their elbow. There are specific reasons to do that for bodybuilding and other things, but for the most part, if you're training for general fitness and to improve the quality of your life, the goal should be to achieve lockout of your elbow, drive your shoulder away from your ear, and fire your lat. This is a simple exercise. This is one of the few exercises that we can do to failure because there's very little danger. When you're doing other kettlebell exercises like snatches or cleans or jerks, we do not like to train to failure because as you're swinging the weight quickly, if you train to failure, it would mean your grip would fail, it would mean the kettlebell would fly away from you, and it's a cannonball with a handle on it, so it destroys things out in front of you. Because you're not swinging the weight, this is a grind movement, you're in very little danger of dropping it on your face or of throwing it away from you in any way. You would put this in training somewhere probably after all the rest of your training. The rest of your training is much higher complexity than this. This would go into the category of what we call sexy training or candy at the end of training. Things people want to do after they do what they have to do. The things that you have to do are your athletic basics, your squat, your press, your clean, your swings, your Turkish get-ups, and then this would go in its own category at the end called candy, things that are not necessary for your athletic performance, but which people really like to do. It is not necessary training per se. Our Turkish get-up is our replacement for bench press, but this would allow people to get more contraction in their chest and to fill out in certain ways. Plug it into your training. This is one of those few ones that you can train to failure.